So we're going to have chicken fried rice for dinner, and these are the ingredients that you're going to need. You're going to need rice. You're going to need whatever meat you're going to put in it. You could use pork or chicken or shrimp, whatever. This is a rotisserie chicken that we bought that we're going to head and use up, dice up and put in. You're going to scramble some eggs and some butter, so in your butter. So you're going to need eggs and butter, and you're going to add in some peas and carrots, and you can have some fried up diced onions if you like. So that's your preference. The seasonings you're going to use is garlic powder and soy sauce, and if you like ginger, you could add that too. You're going to need a pot and a lid for your to boil your rice, and then a frying pan and a large spoon to mix up the ingredients. And that's it. Here it goes. I have taken 2 cups and measured out 2 cups of rice, and now I've got the heat set on between medium and medium high, and what I'm going to do is toast the kernels of the rice. And right now they have a sort of a yellow look to them, and we're going to get them a little bit white. We do not want them brown though. And this is going to help the rice from sticking to itself. And you want to go ahead and continue to stir this rice as it's starting to toast off a little bit. And I can see already that the kernels are starting to, some of the kernels are already starting to turn white. So I'm hoping you can see that. And this will brown quickly, so this only takes a couple of minutes. You know, I literally just turned my rice on. What I'm going to do is go ahead and turn my heat down at this point. I just got my eyes started. So that's why I cranked it up a little bit. So as you can see, it's a little warm, so I don't suggest you doing that, reaching in there with your hand. But anyway, as you can see, some of the kernels are starting to turn white, and that's what you want. That's going to just help your rice from sticking to itself. Okay, so the rice is good and toasted now, so I'm going to put in 4 cups of water. Ooh, look at that. Give it a good stir.
Ooh, look at it.
We got a little sidekick over here helping us out today. I think that's what we call it. Is that what you call it, helping?
Yes.
Helping?
Yes.
Alright. So I'm going to crank the heat up to high just to get that water boiling. It's not going to be very long before it does. Rice has got a good boil on it. I'm going to stir it one more time and scrape the bottom, make sure nothing's sticking on the bottom. And then we're going to cover it up. We're going to turn it down to low and let it sit there. You can give it a little shake, but let it sit there until it cooks and gets nice and tender. And then we'll proceed with the rest of the meal. So it's 5:46 and I've got the stove turned off because I've got to go and pick up a kid from the public school from wrestling practice. So I'm taking a fork and I'm fluffing my rice. And I'm going to take a piece of it and I'm going to test it and see how soft it is. That's perfect and ready. So see that? Nice, and you want to fluff it up with your fork. And it's actually perfect. Okay. So now I'm going to go ahead and chop up my chicken and scrambled my eggs and get those ready, and I'm going to put some butter in the pan and get it melting and get it ready to fry up the eggs. I've diced about 1/4 of an onion. My kids don't like onions that much, so I've only got about 1/4 of onion there. And I'm getting ready to scramble up 4 eggs. I decided to put in 4, 1 per person, and it really doesn't matter. I probably wouldn't go more than 5. And I still need to chop up some of my chicken there. I've added a little oil to my pan, and I've got it set on medium, and I'm adding the onions to saute. The onions just a few minutes. Pause. Okay, so now we've got the onions sauteing in the pan, and I'm going to add the chicken in just long enough to warm it up. And this is a rotisserie chicken that I'm using that I got a good bargain on. What I'm doing is warming up this chicken just a tad bit, and then I'm going to move it to the outside edge, and it'll continue to warm up. I'm going to add 2 tablespoons to the middle of the pan and melt that down.
Of butter.
2 tablespoons of butter, that's right. Would be nice to finish my sentences. Now that our butter is melted in the middle, we've got our scrambled eggs. I'm using about 4 scrambled eggs. It's up to you, 2, 3, 4, 5, whatever. And I'm adding them in the middle. And as you stir, you're heating up your eggs. And it's okay that it runs off into the side like this. You can just push it back. But it's going to run off into your other parts of your meat, but that's okay. We're going to let this continue to cook and scramble. I want to use the pan a little bit to pull that over. That's okay if your meat comes in a little bit, that's fine. It's going to do that. Okay, so I've started scraping the bottom of the pan to make sure that those eggs don't get brown. Okay, so now we're ready to add the rice. And notice how the rice kind of flakes off and it's not sticking together? That's because we toasted it before we cooked it. And when you don't have cold rice to use, which is ideal where you're using leftover rice from another day and you've put it in your fridge and let it get cold, I try to be careful with stirring the rice too much. So I'm going to do this in layers. I'm going to take some garlic powder and I'm just going to shake it over top. And this is probably going to be, I don't know, 2 teaspoons at least. 2 to 3 teaspoons. And you're going to take your soy sauce before you mix in your garlic powder, and you're just going to pour some soy sauce over your rice. Okay, and then we can add another layer of rice before we mix that up. And that's just trying to be careful of not tearing up your rice. Okay, go ahead and add a little bit more garlic powder, not too much because I already added a lot. A little bit more soy sauce. Now you don't want to go hog wild on your soy sauce, because if you do, it'll be too salty. So you'll want to go sparingly at first, then taste it after you stir it up, and then add more if you need it. So I'm going to clean up right here where I splashed.
Can we stop?
Nope. It's okay. And we're going to go ahead and stir. And I'm going to stir carefully. I'm really just folding in, and at the same time I'm going to break up these eggs and get those incorporated into the rest of the meal. Now, I have one child that doesn't like soy sauce much, So we go light on the soy sauce. And
That's not me.
Then we add soy sauce at the table if anybody else wants extra. But I can tell right now this is a little dry, and so if you notice that it will start sticking to the bottom, that's fine. So we've got, going to add some more soy sauce. You're getting a nice color on your rice at this point. And pretty much that's it. It's pretty much done at this point. Now all that's left is to call everybody to dinner.